CBS 17 is your local election headquarters, and right now we're keeping an eye on the second GOP primary to be held this year. This one in western North Carolina. Linda Bennett and Madison Cawthorn are running for the Republican nominee for U.S. House District 11. Whoever wins will go on to face Democrat Mo Davis in November, along with Green Party candidate Tamara Zwinnak and Libertarian Tracy DeBruhl. Be sure to check out our digital platforms to see those results. The polls close at 7:30.
But don't be surprised if we don't know the result of District 11 for weeks to come. That could be the same case this fall for some elections all across the state. In tonight's local original, how voting safely during COVID-19 will likely cause delays in some big results. 3 times as many voters have mailed in their ballots for the 11th District Republican runoff than they did in the district's primary back in March.
They will count those votes at the canvass, which is going to be July 6th. So we could be waiting for a good while. And then to make matters even more complicated, if it's within 1 percentage point, folks have a couple of days to ask for a recount.
Political scientist Chris Cooper says that's going to be the case in the fall across the country and the state. We may not know for days or weeks who won the presidency or who controls the U.S. Senate.
So the Senate is going to be extremely close. There are these core 4 states that may matter. Of course, North Carolina is one of those. So it is entirely possible we won't know who the North Carolina senator is or who's going to be controlling the United States Senate moving forward for perhaps weeks after the election.
The Tillis-Cunningham race is already slated to be the most expensive Senate race in the country. There are also tight races in local elections and state government.
It's a state where voting totals and margins are razor thin. And I think if you put a lot of mail-in vote on top of that and perhaps some legal challenges, it's going to sort of accelerate this process we've seen of taking longer and longer to know who wins. So I think it's going to be incumbent on all of us on election night to make sure that we're a little bit more patient than we've grown accustomed to.
Maybe not the hanging Chad, but a lot of hanging out and waiting.
I think election night may become election fortnight kind of going forward. It could be days or even weeks before we know the answer. So brush up on your trivia from Bush v. Gore. We might be seeing a lot more of those kind of extended timelines before we know who's going to be representing us come next winter.
And one more other thing to factor in. While some voters are choosing to mail in their ballot, Kentucky today has condensed voting sites down to 1 site for the primary in some of their most populated areas. So that means tallying all those ballots from that long line could take longer as well. And